Oh man, well, on that note, South Africa is mourning the loss of celebrated songwriter, producer and performer Melvyn Matthews, affectionately known as Mr. Weekend Special. He died at the age of 67. Matthews' career took off in 1983 when he co-wrote and produced the iconic hit Weekend Special, which made Brenda Fassie, otherwise known as MaBrrr, into global stardom. He was working with and for the legendary Blondie and Pappa at the time. The song sold over 200,000 copies, reached the American Billboard charts, and carried South African music to audiences across the United States, Europe, Australia, and Brazil. More than 40 years later, it remains one of the most beloved songs ever produced in the country. Well, as we remember him this afternoon, we're now joined by media personality Buli G Ngomane, who shared the stage a number of occasions with him. Buli, a very good afternoon to you, and of course condolences to you and the music fraternity. You've described him as, someone who was born to be on stage. So when you first heard the news of his passing, where did your mind and heart go to first?
I got a bit emotional hearing the song from Brenda Fassie a moment ago,
Absolutely.
actually. Thank you, Unati. And it's actually a city in mourning today. And my mind went straight back to the first time I walked into the audition room and Melvyn was there formulating a show with a local entertainment boss called Gary Hemmings, as well as a lady called Lynette. And Melvyn was instrumental in formulating not only the repertoire for the show, picking the singers who'd participate, but yeah, I got in and I was so excited. I was impressionable in my early 20s and I didn't quite know who he was at first, but I soon found out. The colleagues told me.
Yeah. And, I said the music fraternity is actually, South Africans that have lost. Because, I mean, when you look at that song that he wrote that put us on the global map, let alone working with some of the best performers. I mean, there are performers and then there are those who own the moment. I mean, what was that it factor that made him, for you specifically, impossible to ignore?
His voice. Melvyn Matthews was a live singer extraordinaire. I don't think they could capture his voice in recordings as well as he sang live. He was electric. And not only that, a very physical performer. When he was on stage, he came alive, he danced, he jumped up and down, and he also had a command over people. They just loved him instantly. When he said jump, they jumped. When he said, put your hands in there, all of those things, he really was an engaging performer. But over and above that, Melvyn had lots of stories. He was just that type of person who told a lot of stories about entertainment, gave a lot of encouragement. His best advice to me was, the day will come when you walk into a room and the sound will be bad. What are you going to do? Your voice is your instrument. Do this, do that. This is how you overcome that. He always had knowledge to share. And when it wasn't knowledge, he was sharing through what he did on the stage, and we learned from that. We stole a lot from him. I'm sitting with some of my colleagues now chatting about him, and we were just saying that not a single person who came across his path within the stable where we performed ever forgot Melvyn. We still even watch some of our colleagues on stage today and realize, wait, that's a Melvyn move, or that's exactly how Melvyn did it, or that was Melvyn's version of a song. So he wasn't just a talented songwriter, which we didn't know before he became an entertainer with us. He came back to Gqeberha in 1999, and I remember him telling me that people were saying, no, he's going there for his career to die, he mustn't come back. And I believe Melvyn is one of those people who can walk in anyway and make something come alive. So those first shows from the newly built casino entertainment area were shows that he was a part of, and he was electric in them.
Yeah, you said you got emotional when you heard that song, Weekend Special, that we were playing now with Brenda Fassie. We often talk about Weekend Special as a global hit, but from your perspective, Buli, what did that song really do you think, for South African music and its identity particularly?
I think as a youngster, hearing that song for the first time, I think we were in Cape Town and hearing my parents' excitement over this song. I think for me, it was enjoyment at first. And then I realized, wait a second, Brenda Fassie is going overseas. And oh, she's here now. Look at who she's taking photographs with. We used to see her in the newspaper. And back then, you know, newspapers only came out on weekends or during the week, and everybody read the same thing. It's not like now where information is an overload. So it was a really a beautiful career and something to admire and aspire to. And I also come from a family of musicians. So for us, she was the benchmark. And for that song to have been what it was really just something that's ingrained in all of our memories. It's a part of our childhood. I don't know a single South African who's around this age, Gen Xer, who wasn't influenced by that song in a great way. You know, my father's name is Mveli, so he even changed a section of the song to say that she was singing to him. That's how people loved the song. Absolutely. It really was powerful.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, you call him Melly. I saw a tribute that you paid to him in your social media, you know, platform. How do you think, you know, Melly would like to be remembered, particularly as you speak about music and how it's really ingrained in who we are as a people? You know, how do you think he would want to be remembered, not just as an artist, but, you know, as a human being, as somebody, as you say, who moved to Gqeberha in the 1990s, and he reinvented himself, you know, and he still captured his essence.
Yes. I believe, though, that Melvyn's most powerful work happened before he came home, because he produced multiple beautiful songs. And then when he came back home to Gqeberha, he did some amazing work. I do think he wants to be remembered for being a great songwriter, a great entertainer, and a very good colleague. There was no more consummate a professional on stage. He was very meticulous in his record keeping, always showed up on time, looked immaculate. He was just one of, you know, the best people to work with, because you knew you had to deliver next to Melly. Melly was one of those people who could sing his heart out. And if you were going to, you know, lag behind, you were going to look really, really bad next to him. He was so good. So, yeah, I think Melly, for a long time, though, he did battle to get the recognition about those songs. And he told many people who worked with him, you know, when the lights go down and the shows are over, there's lots of time for musicians to chat. And he did mention those times when he battled to get the recognition. And when he eventually did, you know, we all rejoiced with him. So for me, that was the part that hit home the most when I realized that he was gone. I thought, okay, well, I'm really hoping that his family continued to benefit from his immense talent. For me, that would be the great gift. And I know that my colleagues agree with me, because I've spoken to most of them who remember him. I hope his family will benefit from this great, great gift he gave our nation. And I also hope that he wins the other battles, because there is some pending music that they still have to acknowledge him for. And I just hope that they realize that, you know, South Africans really do appreciate his contribution enough for there to even be posthumous awards. Melvyn deserves all of that. If not for the fact that we all know as entertainers he was born for the stage. You can't not know it if you've performed with him, but also for the fact that it happened and it was valuable and he deserves the credit.
Absolutely. Buli, thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. And of course, again, you know, condolences to you and those who knew and loved him. Buli G Ngomane there speaking to us following the passing of songwriter, producer and performer Melvyn Matthews. He died at the age of 67, formerly known as Mr. Weekend Special.